You didn't give me like a we are live.
Nope, none of that. We just roll right into it.
Fuck, I'll do an intro. You should have let me know.
There's no intro. This is the intro. Us jamming and hanging out.
Did we start when you told me to take my feet off the table?
Wait, I started rolling when I went and grabbed a rein. So all of that is open game for me to start this podcast.
Oh, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, you're a jiu-jitsu guy. I didn't think having open feet out was a problem for you.
Not a problem for me. I was going to keep them on the table for most of the time.
Yeah, I can't do that. Definitely will have some viewers tune out.
Or maybe you'd set up a whole OnlyFans. I heard
OnlyFans.
I heard you were approached.
I was approached. When was I approached?
By OnlyFans.
No. I had one of their poachers hit me up to say that you have a very wide network of individuals, and if you would like to have these said individuals start doing OnlyFans with us as a modeling agency, that we would give you a cut of what they make. Nah, I'm good.
What kind of money are we talking?
I have no idea, but I don't care.
Interested.
Nope. Then I hope they DM Mr. Manimal. Because
No. I want to be talent. I'm the talent.
You want to be the talent?
I'm the talent.
How much do you think you could bring in as an OnlyFans model, honestly?
If I couldn't do $30,000 a month, it wouldn't be worth it.
I don't know if you're pulling 30 in.
Yeah, but what about with my other talent?
With the jiu-jitsu?
No, my co-stars.
Oh, your co-stars. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I think people are very picky.
I don't know. I see these bitches that are mediocre getting like $30,000 a month.
Women are different, though. Women are different than guys. It's the same. I have this debate all the time. I have tons of girls that I'm friends with that they'll show me their dating apps.
Yeah.
And the amount of fucking hits that they're getting just from dudes hitting them up is insane. Dudes are always going to spend money on stuff like that, but are women going to spend money on the Manimal? They might.
No. You need to find a co-star.
Not always. We're talking about
just me.
We're talking about just solo act.
No, it's going to be all gay dudes. I already see what my DMs look like. It's a bunch. Oh my god! And all they want to look at is my feet.
I mean,
that's why I put them on the table. I was trying to give you a fucking boost.
No. I don't want that. You
don't want that?
No. I'm not trying to get Tonely fan people on here.
Those gays pay.
I mean,
guys pay. Those guys pay. That's what I meant to say.
God, Jesus Christ!
I don't know if that was a Freudian slip.
Really hitting it right in.
Yeah,
right out the gate.
Especially if you ever see, sometimes I'll put a picture or a video and I'm just like my feet on the beach. Oh my god, my DMs after that. Nuts.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think you have very nice feet. I don't have nice feet.
You know what's funny? A lot of people would beg to differ with
Really?
Me. Yeah, especially
because
since I take such good care of them, because I always go in the ocean every day.
Every day?
I try to go every day.
And why do you try to go into the ocean every day?
It's the best thing for your feet.
For just your feet or your whole entire body?
Always the feet.
Okay.
Just praise the gods. But the whole body, especially in the winter, I got to be really in the mood. If I'm sore, yeah, it has to be beneficial. It has to do something for me. I don't just like to do it for the sake of doing it for hardship. I've had enough hardship. You know what I mean? Like, I lived in a fucking tent in the woods. I've done enough. I know what it's like. You know, I don't need to jump in the cold water if it doesn't serve a purpose. Where was I going with that? So the reason I always put my feet in the water, I'm going to tell you a story. So
tell me.
Okay. So in Viking mythology, there's a goddess, a giantess. This goddess Skadi, and the gods wind up killing her father. And as a price, weregild, you pay a price if you kill someone. It's like to make recompensation, so you don't have a blood feud. You got to pay a price. So she's like, the price I want to marry one of the gods.
Okay.
And she wanted to marry Balder, the most beautiful god. And the gods were like, whoa, okay, but you have to choose them based on their feet. And she's like,
this is not real.
And she's like, all right, fair enough.
This is not real.
It's the story, yeah. Skadi chooses her husband. So then Skadi's like, okay, fine, I'll choose them by their feet, because obviously the most beautiful god should have the most beautiful feet, right? And when she chooses them by their feet, she sees the most beautiful feet, and she's like, oh, this dude, got to be Balder. And when she picks him, it's Njord. Njord is the old man of the sea. He's the sea god. And when I always think of that, I was like, oh, why does he have the best feet? Because that dude always puts his feet in the water, takes the calluses off.
Wait a minute.
What?
So what is this Greek myth? I need to look at it.
Norse mythology.
Norse mythology?
Yeah. It's Skadi and Njord. Njord. Skadi is Skadi. You need a young Jamie. Young Jamie.
It's supposed to be Kenji, but he doesn't have any thumbs, so it makes
Young
it hard.
Kenji. Can you pull that up first? Thanks. I'm full of Viking mythology, all mythology, really, but
Why is that? Is just something that you've always been
Norse
interested
mythology. Well, I mean, I follow the old ways. I mean, I'm Norse pagan.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
So yeah, I mean, I praised Odin at the garden in front of 20,000 people. What other pagan can say that?
So can I ask you this? What is your thought process on like the Marvel movies doing all like the Odin and Thor and stuff like that? Do you find that it's actually something, if you're actually into it, do you find it's something that is semi-accurate, or is it almost like insulting because they do stupid shit?
The only movie I found insulting was Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oof.
Because they made him seem like a buffoon.
Yeah.
Other than that, any praise to the gods is good, even though the storyline's a little different. So in the actual mythology, Loki and Thor aren't brothers. Loki is Odin's blood brother. So if you think about the mythologies, tell a deep story. So when we think about all mythologies, Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Christian mythology, Judeo-Christian mythology, however you want to put it, they tell a deep story. There's a surface level story, Njord getting picked by the feet, and then there's the first level. It's good for your feet.
Okay.
And then the story also tells another layer about dichotomy, and eventually they can't live together. She loves the mountains.
He loves the sea.
He loves the ocean.
Yeah.
And
they can meet in the middle, maybe, but probably not.
No, there is no middle. Right. The middle, they're both unhappy.
Yeah.
Right. So could tell you something about congruency in your spirit. So the myth can tell a lot. The myth that I think tells the most sometimes is scientific evidence in the myth. Well, why do the Romans try to kill all the Druids in England? Because the Druids have sacred knowledge. They know about the planetary alignment. The guy who keeps the calendar, do you know how the calendar is just to be kept?
I don't.
So daily, every day, the high priest will go look at the stars. And based on what he observed, he'd tell you where you were in the universe.
Interesting.
Every day. He looked at the stars. He was like, okay, this is where we are today. And every day you updated the calendar.
And accurate?
That's as accurate as you get. You update it daily.
Yeah.
The reason we have to do shit like...
Yeah, but back then they didn't have the I guess, the instruments and technology that we have today, obviously.
To your knowledge.
To our knowledge, that's true.
You found my cell phone. Okay, so let's say 100 years from now you find this fucking thing. The charging device for it has long been obsolete. Mm-hmm. Okay, can I play? If I brought a cassette tape here, could you play it?
No.
And when was the cassette tape obsoletized?
Probably early 2000s.
That's only 20 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, so we take this 100 years from now, and you find my phone, and you look at it, and you're like, wow, these guys were so vain. Look at all the mirrors they had. Looks like nothing. It doesn't turn on, and you can't turn it on. There is no fucking way. If I brought a CD here, and that's only maybe 10 years ago, you couldn't play it.
Well, I couldn't play it because I don't have the device here currently.
Yeah.
But I can go get one.
That's 20 years ago. In 100 years, will you? So, okay, if I brought you a car from 1920 that relied on electric, could we charge it? Right? Right. I don't know. If I brought you, let's say, something from 1850, something that was steam powered, could we run it? I don't know. Right? It would be really tough. Now, if I find something 100 years, 2,000 years in the future, and I excavate this thing, and I was like, oh, these guys, you don't fucking know what this thing was. Yeah. That clay tablet we're writing, that whole shit could have lit up. It could have had all types of knowledge. And we know the Romans had extensive knowledge. They write everything, right? So they're very by the book society, right? They actually make the first book, the Codex. To bind their laws, they make a book. Otherwise, you would do it on parchment paper, and that gets cumbersome as fuck. So they were like, yo, we write so much, we need books. And the Romans they were so calculated in the observation of the movement of the universe that they even calculated every day a different time. So like every day would be a different amount, 24 hours in a day, but every hour different. So during let's say the winter, the daytime hour would be 48 minutes. And during the summer, the daytime hour might be an hour, 17 minutes. 24 hours, and the nighttime hour would be a different time.
Gotcha. So, to compensate for the early rising of the sun and the shorter days.
Calculated every hour. So the fifth hour of the day was always the fifth hour of the day, even though chronologically, as we tell time, it would have been like totally off.
Yeah.
I would have told, like, you know, when you wake up now and it's dark,
Yeah.
guess what? That's 4 a.m. That's the 4th hour.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's like what we call afternoon. Sometimes that might be 11. Sometimes it might be 2. We call that the 8th hour or something, right? Like, it's just the hour has a name, and then the hour is calculated in between. So our ancestors are very advanced, and I think it's often, you know, a little unfair of us to not give them the credit they deserve. We're here right now.
Well, I find that it's interesting to see maybe things that we were never told that our higher ups throughout history have selectively allowed us to see what the actual ancient times were or what they were writing about or the technology back then. Because, you know, just to be able to, pyramids, for example, the pyramids fascinate me. Like, just to be able to make those structures, I'm not saying it's aliens, I'm not saying it's just them, but there's something there that obviously we don't know everything and we can't know everything, but there's something there that I'm sure we've found that makes sense on how they were built and why.
And this is what I have to imagine, that the technology they used to them was actually so simple that we can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So I think about, I also like the Viking era, right, since I follow the old ways. And I went for my master's in history at Brooklyn College, so I studied a lot, but really on my own.
This is fascinating, by the way.
Is this good?
Yeah, this is awesome, because I thought that it was going to be mostly jiu-jitsu when we started talking, and
I only started being an athlete the second half of my life. The first half, I was just a fat, nerdy pothead. So
now you're just an athlete pothead.
Yeah, and I never stopped being a nerdy pothead.
Yeah, I was nerdy. Yeah, just not the fat part. I
just stopped being fat.
Yeah.
Stopped being fat. That was all. And
so you're saying the technology was probably so simple for them that it just so advanced to us.
I like the Viking era, right? And I go to this thing once in Connecticut in Mystic, and they rebuilt a Viking ship. And
with the oars and everything on the sides?
These motherfuckers, with all our technology, could not do it right. You know what I mean? It was like they had to use a lot of like modern shit. They couldn't just make the Viking ship. They're missing something that would have been obvious to them that isn't that obvious to us. Something like a phone charger. You ever read a book that talks about it? The instruction manual is going to disappear pretty quick. I find a novel that tells me about the time. How do I investigate history?
But that's also very easy for them to negate and omit stuff like that, where if they didn't want us to find out about older stuff.
Oh, how would you know? What about when you find a battery in ancient Egypt? Okay. I'm going to tell you ancient knowledge. I'll give you some more ancient knowledge from the gods. Thor. That you're familiar with Thor from the Marvel movies? He's the god of thunder, right? And lightning. He's the actual embodiment of that. Okay. So let's delve deeper into that. Cool story. What is thunder and lightning? Electromagnetism. Okay. What's Thor called? He's the protector of Midgard. Midgard is the earth, right? So there's 9 worlds. One of the worlds, the one we inhabit in the physical form, is Midgard. And Thor, the god of thunder and electricity, protects Midgard. Well, how do you do that? How do you protect Midgard? With his hammer. What does that hammer look like?
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. It doesn't quite look like a normal hammer, right? If you study it, it looks like the Earth's electromagnetic field, the head of the hammer. Earth's electromagnetic field.
You're saying the hammer, when it's held vertically, and then obviously it's long ways when it's held vertically. You're saying that
the head is Earth's magnetic field.
The head, but it's held like that, or is it north-south like that?
Held like this. The head is the magnetic field because it stretches out this way.
Gotcha.
The magnetic field don't stretch out like it's not a circle.
Yeah.
It's elongated. And the way
like an oval.
Yeah, because the Earth would be here, and the magnetic field stretches out like this.
Yeah.
And becomes a toroidal form. So that symbol, the hammer, is a symbol for Earth's magnetic field. So our ancient ancestors knew if you were initiated, if you were educated and initiated into the ways, you knew that there was an electromagnetic field that protected us from radiation, however you identified that. And it's a nice, simple story for telling your kids. But when you study the ways, you can take that story deeper and deeper. It's like in jiu-jitsu. I've been doing the same move since I was a blue belt. And I watched myself do it. I found the old Naga tape and I sent it to Legacy Box and they put it on digital. And I'm watching. I was like, I do the same moves, just way better.
Yeah,
I just keep
more
doing
efficient.
A layer better, a layer better, a layer better. And you can do that with the myth. It's a layer deeper, right? If you ask a lot of the scientists I hear now, will say, oh, Adam and Eve is like a metaphor for an atom, right? and then Eve an electron. So like I'm like, oh, okay. So if you want to extrapolate that story, that's something the ancients knew, and just not on a mass-produced scale. The thing with technology is you mass-produce this device. Once you make it once, you can keep making it. Mm-hmm. Our ancient ancestors may have had to make everything from each piece handmade. That might be the only difference.
Yeah, so instead of being able to make millions of units, they can only make, let's say, 100 or 200 units.
Exactly. That would be my theory off the top of my head, that there's highly advanced technology available only to the very initiated. And this technology might not only be mechanical technology, it could also be spirit tech. What about having technology that you just develop inside your own body, your own spirit, your own energy, spirit tech? You might have that to such an advanced level if you let people explore it, which now you don't. That's hokey. That shit don't work, right? There's no such thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that don't believe in the spirituality thing. And, you know, when people say spirituality, they think, well, you just believe in God. And it's like, no, it's deeper than that. It's all around you at all times. You feel energy, man. You feel it with people. That's the best example I give people. It's like you feel the energy with people. There are some people that just give shitty, bad energy. You wiping your head. Don't do that. You know how fucking expensive that microphone is?
I do. I always do this on the
Don't do
it's
that.
a blessing. I rubbed first of all, you don't even know what I did there.
Your third eye?
You should thank me. Yeah.
Your third eye? I know what you did there.
Thank me.
No, I can't thank
me.
you.
Thank me. That's a blessing.
Kenji said thank you.
The son of Odin just rubbed his third eye on your fucking microphone. I blessed this thing.
By the way, everybody, I kept the slap to this range because I know if I got closer and he grabbed me, I was going right over the table.
I mean, I'm
into a Kimura.
I might like it.
By the way, I want to get back to this topic, but at the same time, I bought the Kimura Savage shirt from Sarah, and as I'm buying it, I go to Johnny. I go, all right, let me ask you this: do I have to effectively hit a Kimura if I wear this shirt? Because I definitely can't yet.
Do you get stripes? Do you get rankings on the Kimura Savage shirt?
Yeah, it
has its own ranking system. It's like patches.
It just says Savage, and then Matt, as I can hit the Kimura effectively, he adds the Kimura letters. One by one.
It's just a Savage.
Yeah, just a Savage.
It's like Hangman.
Yeah,
and then on the back, it's like every time you fail.
Yeah. He takes one off. He's like, no, Nick. I saw that in class the other day. Yeah, rips it right off me. Like I'm getting demoted in the military. Just rips it off my shoulder.
You get another stripe.
But yeah, what were we talking about? We were talking about... I got distracted. You were wiping your third eye all over my microphone.
I know. I see the energy even...
It's just emitting. That's what we were talking about. Spirituality of energy. Like you feel it with people though. When the energy is off, you don't want to fuck with those types of people. I don't know.
You use the terminology, don't you?
Yeah, all the time.
Feel someone's vibe. What the fuck does that mean? If you're like, oh, the vibe is off. If you ever use that kind of wording, I mean, you mean vibrational energy.
Yeah. Well, some people, they'll be like, well, what is that? I've put clips up on TikTok before. They're like, what does that even mean, bro? It's like, well, obviously you don't get it.
I mean, it's like there's a lot of things you can't see. I mean, really, we only see 1% of the visible spectrum, so there's a lot of things you can't see.
Yeah.
Unless you have the proper device. Perhaps we're the proper device, just not utilizing it. I don't know if you've ever done psychedelics, but...
I have not.
Seems to be like that shit is right here available. So whatever I see on mushrooms, let's say, well, that stuff is right there. It's not like I went somewhere. I'm right in the same spot. So
yeah, but do you think it's just the chemical balance in your brain just not necessarily opening something for you to see things, but just fucking with the visual and perception that you have on a normal basis?
What's the difference?
I don't know. That's why I'm giving like a counter argument.
Oh, so my counter.
I don't know.
Oh, so I could give an actual. I wonder what the difference is personally.
Oh, and
that's actually just my question.
I would be interested too, but I don't think that there's anything that backs it. I can give you a
question if I just want to say why do I believe that what I'm seeing is relevant to the actual world that you would call real.
Yeah. Just because it's not tangible.
Well, hold on. Let's dissect this.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So when I take mushrooms, I also have sensory experiences that are actually there that can be concurrently verified by other people there. But I have a more heightened sense of this experience, maybe through auditory. So let's say I might hear something that I normally would never be privy to hearing. From a distance, I normally wouldn't. And I'll be like, no, I hear something. I'll be like, I don't hear shit. No. We go towards it, and then it's, right, you'll see the thing, a dying bird or fucking some shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I heard that fucking thing. and you'll be like, I didn't hear shit.
So you're
Well,
saying
let me-
amplified auditory experiences.
Okay, so that is what I get out of mushrooms that I can easily verify. I'm getting this. I hear something. You don't hear it. No one else hears it. We go find the thing. Right? It gives you. That's the proof.
Yeah.
I heard the. How did I know this fucking thing was here? I heard it.
So you're saying you hear something and then you actually go over to physically identify that that's what you were hearing from.
That's about as real as I could get.
Okay.
Normally, no one else would have heard it. Right? I do a retreat. We're all camping out. I'm on mushrooms. You're not. Now, another experience that I feel harder to verify. So let's say one day I go upstate.
Yeah, you can bring that up. I was going to say. You can bring
And
that
I go into the pool, and it's fucking freezing cold. It was like March, but it had been cold. And there's a big tree. And I'm looking at the tree, and I'm just praying to the gods, just feeling the energy. And as I breathed in, I felt the tree breathe out. And as I breathed out, I felt the tree breathe in my CO2.
Now, this is when you're on mushrooms.
On
then?
mushrooms, I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. I could feel stuff like that sometimes, but I really got to be in tune, without drugs. Although my most psychedelic experience is probably fighting, but whatever. My dead homies are there. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yo, it gets nuts for me because I'm already. So let's say this is what I think psychedelics does. This is how I'll explain it the best way I can.
I'm listening to you. I'm just making sure that you're still in focus with the movie.
Okay. So psychedelics for me is kind of like degrees on a compass. So if we looked at this can of rain energy, if you look at my alignment here, you see this tab?
Yep.
It's aligned across that hole.
Okay.
Okay. And when I'm aligned across that hole, I see certain things. I'm in a certain spectrum, right?
Yeah.
I'm like this. You put me this way, boom. This is what my world looks like. Now, if I give you some mushrooms, I might just do that. So I might just shift you like that. Bang. And now you're privy to a whole other dimension of experiences that you normally wouldn't be. Sensory experiences, tactile experiences. I mean, I know you never done it, but fuck, you could just touch something and feel every grain. And psychedelic experiences fighting, sober as fuck, right? Sober as fuck. I get drug tested. New York is very strict. I fought in New York. So about as sober as you could ever be. You can't even take a Tylenol. Right? And I could feel every thread of the canvas. I could hear the fucking marker.
You're saying the jiu-jitsu canvas, like the MMA canvas?
The mat. I could feel the grain of the mat on my foot. I don't fucking feel that in a normal day, but my senses are so heightened. I'm having such a psychedelic experience now. Fucking, I could hear someone in the third row ordering a beer. Could barely hear my corner who's right next to me. Right, I'm picking up all these things, all these inputs that normally I would be perceiving in a completely different manner. The fight put me right there, right? Put me at 180. It's like, this ain't normal experience. Be fucking ready, dude. Right? Like, it puts you right into a...
So you're saying you're completely sober, but you're experiencing these things during it.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that years of drug use would be the reason that you would feel that way, or that was just for that small amount of time?
Ask any fighter. They have weird experiences in there, and it's hard for them to extrapolate what that experience is. What about when you hear something? Like, you got to know what they are. It's not just something that you think. It's something I think about. My years of drug use has made me privy to other, right, sensory experiences. So then when I have it happen, I'm like, oh, shit, This is what's happening. And you have it happen, you're like, ooh, a little weird in there.
Yeah.
Right, hard for you to tell me what you experienced. But if I ask a fighter, if I'm like, yo, you ever have some weird experience? Like, you ever feel something weird in there? Something crazy? Feel like you're your opponent? You can sometimes...
Or like almost like you're having a desensory experience.
An out-of-body experience.
Out-of-body experience.
People have that all the time.
Depersonalization is the word I was looking for.
But they'll almost say they see themselves third person.
And through the fight, while they're actually fighting.
Yeah, I've heard people say that all the time, right? What the fuck is going on there?
I've heard military people say that too when they get in firefights.
How the fuck does that happen? Right, so now you're having a psychedelic experience that's just triggered by your brain producing these chemicals. And I could take those chemicals exogenously to produce the effect when I'm not in that heightened stimulation, depending what effect I need. So like mushrooms on a hike is always great. Bond with nature a little more. And then Odin is also a god of mushroom use. So
Odin's a god of mushroom use.
His story is very closely related to mushrooms. Really Amanita muscaria, because the mythical Odin, also the historical Odin, says he practiced the magical art called seed, which is a magic that like they say like witches practice. It's kind of like considered a feminine art. However, when you're open, you got to practice all the arts. So Odin practices seed on Samsi with the reindeer herders. So the Samsi people is like where the shamans are that look like Santa Claus.
Okay.
So he practiced seed, this magical art on Samsi, and part of their magical art is using mushrooms, which grow there underneath the tundra. And these Amanita muscaria mushrooms are hallucinogenic. And then you can have psychedelic experiences with them. And also all the Santa Claus mythology comes from that. So
that's what I was about to ask. Did that come directly from that?
The Amanita muscaria is the one that looks like the red with the white on it.
The mushroom.
The mushroom emoji.
Yeah. Oh, that looks like.
That's an Amanita muscaria.
Oh, okay.
That's the psychedelic mushroom.
How do you spell that?
Amanita, Amanita. Amanita. Does it come up, or do you need muscaria?
It's with an I at the end?
Amanita, A.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the mushroom emoji.
Oh, shit. Look at that.
Yeah. So that mushroom is hallucinogenic and legal.
Where do these grow? They grow, you said?
Cold climates.
Cold climates.
They grow. They're a little darker mushroom than psilocybin. Psilocybin can be a little introspective, but it's normally, if you don't need it to be introspective, pretty happy. The Amanita are a little darker.
So would you go up to this and just take a bite? Is that what that is? How does that work?
I would dry it first, or else you would
dry
die.
it.
If you don't dry it, there's chemical agents in it that are active until it's dried, which could kill you. So if you eat that,
Well, that's probably the defense mechanism of the mushroom itself.
well, maybe we don't know what the mushroom's goal is. I mean, I'd have to ask it.
Yeah, but usually something like this,
It might want to possess you. It might want you to die in that spot.
yeah, well,
It might
you
want to
see
die in a different
those
spot.
bright colors in nature, and that usually means poisonous. That
Yeah,
usually
so
means,
that's poisonous. But
Yeah.
once you dry it, and even Odin's, I've heard some scholars make the argument that Odin's sacrifices are like an allusion to how you dry the mushrooms. So Odin goes on. Odin, so my god, the god I follow very closely. I'm pagan, so when you're pagan, I can venerate any deity. But the god I closely associate with would be Odin. So I would be like an Odinist, I guess some people could say. But I work closely with all different gods, and all different pantheons of gods become available to you, because if you understand it as energy, all a god is an archetypal form of energy that's accessible to us to incorporate that essence into our life. So, for Christians, they might use an archangel like Michael for protection. Or Catholics, I don't know if you're Italian, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so they fucking have all these saints that do shit.
Yep.
Those essentially would
Padre
fulfill.
Pio, everybody like that.
Oh my God, Padre Pio, this guy.
Yeah.
My mom's from Ribera, Sicily.
You hear about it everywhere now.
My mom's from Ribera, Sicily, and he's like the patron saint of her town. And they go mad for this dude. Padre Pio had the stigmata, all this shit. So he's like a mini god. That would be like almost deified to our pagan ancestors.
You like Ganesh?
Well, Ganesh is a god.
Yeah, is a god for Hinduism.
Yeah, Ganesh is pagan. Thank God that there's still Hindus, because 1/4 of the earth is pagan because of him. So thank you. Otherwise, paganism is probably the most persecuted religion, right? In the scripture of a few different of these monotheistic religions, some say worship no other god before me, and some say not at all. So in Islam, paganism, I think, might be punishable. Some places, if it's really strict, by death, right? It's haram to be pagan. Other places, like the actual translation in Hebrew, I've heard translated the best way I like it, is you should worship no other god before me, which would make more sense for their religion, because throughout the Bible, they always go see fortune tellers and seers that worship other gods, and they're obviously, fine with paganism. They acknowledge the gods of the Egyptian pantheon, Ra, and all those gods. They acknowledge their powers. They're creating miracles, snakes, and all that. They're doing the same shit, right? They're acknowledging that there is other deities.
Yes.
Only saying that don't put them over me. And that was the problem they had in ancient Rome. The Romans like, no, you got to worship the emperor.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no, we're monotheistic. And they're like, well, now you got to fucking leave.
Yeah, now you got to leave, or we're going to kill you. Or we're going to stone you to death.
But now you have to leave, or we'll kill you, yeah. So, but the reason I think monotheism kind of winds up being adopted more is because it's way easier to control monotheistic people. If we all worship the same God, well, then it's like we're all rowing the boat together. But if we all worship different gods, well, now it's like, well, listen, we should do this. God says so. Well, which God? Odin told me to do something different, which he often does. Your God, you might worship Thor. He might have a different thing that you should be.
Ideology.
Yeah, you might have a different ideology, and it's hard to rule us. If you're like you worship one God, and this God says this, well, it's a lot easier to.
Was it united we stand, divided we fall?
So it's easier to rule you, though.
It's also easier to then have religious wars, technically speaking.
Well, rulership is all about making you do stuff you don't want to do. If you don't rule someone, then we're just friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I didn't want to take my feet off the table, I don't have to. We could get into a fight, but you're my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I took my feet off the table. I respect you.
Well, you also wouldn't have been able to have the feet on the table and sit in the mic position like this.
Well, you don't know what I could have did. I'm just saying, like, there's no reason you can't do anything, right? It's your just agreement with others that make you not do that. I don't think I need the law to tell me not to, right? It almost maybe some people do, but I'd rather focus on what the 99% of the population is like, and the 1% might figure itself out. But if I focus overly on this 1%, I actually start to damage the 99%. It's probably percentage is a little different, but for argument's sake.
I know what you mean.
Just intellectualizing right now. Now the edible kicked in strong. Fucking kicked in hard.
It's ready to go.
No, it kicked in. Boom. Now I'm flying.
Ready to go.
Now I'm flying. The only thing I'm missing for a blunt right now would be good. But when I have my event space, studio space, we can do whatever there.
Yeah, we can do whatever.
I know you don't really do anything. You don't do anything, right?
Nothing.
You drink, smoke.
Nope. I gave up drinking in March.
Sex.
No, they actually just mailed me my virginity card back.
You said that the other day.
Yeah, they said that. They mailed it back to me, and they said, since you're not doing anything with it, we're just going to send it back to you.
Good-looking guy like you.
No.
I'm surprised. Are you saving it for marriage?
No. I mean, I've had sex many times. I don't have anything in the pipeline. I'm chilling.
Good for you. Yeah. Well, so everybody, ladies, Nikki Rizzles is single.
Yeah, sort of.
We're taking applications.
Sort of open for sex.
We're taking applications. He says that he's not into a committed relationship, but I'm sure a woman out there would love to change you.
Yeah, she would love to. I'm somewhat of a jiu-jitsu practitioner. I'm not.
You should get your blue belt soon. Did you get your blue belt yet?
I have not. I don't know what the fuck.
No, you should get it soon.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
You always want to roll with me, and
I do want to roll with you. I do want to roll with you.
That's admirable.
Yeah.
First, old school, that would be disrespectful, but whatever.
What, really?
Oh yeah, they ask a black belt to roll.
Really?
Yeah, I would ask you to roll if I wanted to roll.
Oh.
Right. It's like a hierarchy.
But you've asked me to roll before.
Because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so I thought that opened up the communication for two-way street now when I can ask you whenever I want.
I don't care. I find it flattering. But old school, that would have been
disrespectful.
Yeah.
What would they have done to me? Just kick me out of the school?
No, I would just fucking kicked your ass. I wouldn't have had a nice roll with you. Like when you tapped, I would have just kept the fucking thing on.
Give me that fucking knee.
I would, or
I don't know how to defend it.
Yeah, or not even try to tap you.
Yeah.
Just hurt you.
Yeah, just hurt me. Yeah, great.
You put my elbow in your eye.
Yeah, great.
Just be a dick.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. Then there's Nick. Every time I roll, and people laugh at me when I do this to them. I dap up and I go, "Hey, before we start, anything sore on you? I want to make sure I don't touch that." There's other people that are like, "What's sore on you?" So I can dig my elbow into it.
Yeah. What's sore on you? I'm gonna go for that. Yo, I swear to God, whenever I wear like a knee brace or an elbow sleeve,
they look right at that.
They go right for it. Even in my match with Steamroller, the exhibition we did, I was like, bro, I put my knee brace on that knee, so you know.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. First thing, knee bar.
Grazed you.
But he fixed it.
Yeah.
He actually he twisted it, and when he did, whatever was like in there kind of cracked open, and it actually started to heal good after that.
Broke some scar tissue.
Broke some shit up, and then it started to move around good. Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu's been a very interesting journey. I've talked about it a lot on the podcast, and I really love it. I do. I really do love it. And I want to get really good at it. Like, that's really, to be honest with you, that's why I come to your class at law.
I appreciate
different
that. I would
dudes.
teach more, but
it's tough for you with this travel and everything, too.
Nah, it's just not the right situation. If it was, the gods have to give me the right situation for me to want to, coach, 10, 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
In a class setting. My privates, thank God. I could always use a few more privates, but that is fine. But to do a class, there's really no money in classes right now.
Yeah. I mean, I did. That's how we first met, was when you were doing the midday at Sarah's.
Yeah, I love doing the midday at Sarah's.
Yeah. And you do you still do it every Friday?
Yeah, I always do it every Friday noon. So if you want to come down, let me know, Gee. I know it seems weird for me if you know me. That I'm mostly a no-gi guy previously.
What's up with you guys just hating on, not you particularly, but just hating on gi? I don't understand the hate for everything.
I don't hate the gi.
I have so many people that I know that are like, I refuse to do a gi after I got this.
I just prefer no gi.
But dude, there were dudes that refused to.
And especially since I fought, I just have so much more experience without the gi on There's so many more rounds I've done in my life, no gi.
Yeah.
You know, think about all the cage rounds, all the MMA rounds. There's a lot of grappling going on in those rounds, especially for me since I'm grappling based. So let's say, you know, I don't know, the 6 pro fights and sparred 100 rounds for each of those. Right, that's 600 rounds just there, sparring for fights.
Yeah.
Where I'm grappling in most of those rounds because I'm a grappling oriented fighter.
And you're wearing no shirt and you're wearing fight trunks.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm grappling, you know, as much as possible in there. That's how I'm bent.
And you're used to then not having to grab the pant legs or do or stuff like that. Like that's what. So
tight waist the guy is a little different.
When
style.
we did the no gi the other night at Law, I couldn't break that kid's guard because I'm so used to
having grips,
grabbing the grips and then pushing it out.
Yeah,
yeah.
And without that, so all that grappling experience, then you develop. And you know what? I have a lot of grappling experience too. I don't really get to use off the cage.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've probably done a quarter of my training on cage work. You know, getting guys against the cage to take them down, getting off the cage, how to move off the cage on the ground. There's a lot that goes involved there that's sport specific that really you don't get to use on a day-to-day basis. You know, all the striking I've done. Although maybe I'll work up. There's the boxing class at Law right before.
Okay.
I used to do both. When I hurt my MCL, I was like,
You heard it from the boxing class?
No.
Just in general?
I heard it just... Nothing actually happened. So, like, I did jiu-jitsu one day, and then at night, I was like, oh, my knee felt a little shitty, and then I woke up in the next morning. It was swollen black and blue, and like...
Oh.
I was like, what the fuck happened here? Like, nothing... No leg lock. Like, nothing actually happened. It wasn't like, oh, this dude did something I didn't realize. It was just like... my wear and tear. I was like, I went to the doctor. Was like,
Did you get MRIs and everything like that?
I just had partial tear, but it's fucking hurt.
Yeah, of
and
course.
It took like 3 good months to heal. 3 months to heal, a month light, and now I'm training pretty good. I did the wrestling class. Now I'm feeling good.
Good.
I was gonna do worlds, but I'm a little fat.
All right,
I could do 188.
We gotta get you in shape.
I could do it in a month. I could get in shape in a month.
Get in shape. You just gotta.
I only need to lose 10 pounds.
You just gotta. Yeah, that's easy.
Or I could go up a weight class and not lose 5 pounds. Not even.
Would you want to go up a weight class though?
188 is the upper weight class. Those dudes are going to be big.
I'm 188 right now. I'd have to drop down.
75 is the one before.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
That's what I would do for me too.
But that division is also bigger. So, like, let's say there's going to be 38 guys in that division. There might be 20 dudes. And
what about size-wise comparatively to me?
No, these dudes are big.
Yeah?
It's like guys like, you know, Manny.
Yeah.
It's like Manny's size guys.
Gotcha.
Which is okay, because sometimes that becomes a difficult match for them because there's nothing really for them to get on me. And I'll be a little ball. So it could work. But I'd rather 75 is probably my better weight, like the weight class I should do.
I prefer to be lighter because then I got to go against guys that are super tall and long arms and shit, and that I can't stand.
Yeah, see, I hate fighting guys my height.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't mind fighting guys my height. I'm not fighting. I don't mind rolling with guys my height. My thing is,
it's okay.
The long limbs. Like I grapple with Simba, and I grapple with all these long ass limbs, and they grab me from across the room. I'm like, stop it, stop it, get off of me. Yeah.
Dalsim, was it Dalsim?
What?
In Street Fighter, Dalsim. From
Street. Oh yeah,
he used to punch arms. And then it would elongate.
He was like the Indian cat, right?
Yeah,
he was great.
The yogi master.
Yeah, he was awesome. So now let me ask you real quick. Let me go back and get into the Manimal, John Manimal. Yeah, there you go. Channel it. What got you started into the martial arts fight world? So you said you were a heavyset, nerdy historian. So what?
And then, when I went to jail, in order to stop myself from getting ass raped.
Really?
No, I'm just.
I was about to say, God damn.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, God damn. We just went deep, literally. What are you doing, man?
That's not my fault.
Fucking microphone.
Hold on, can I tell you something? Just so you know, I am extremely destructive.
Yeah, bro. I've had 70-something episodes. Don't touch it.
I am extremely destructive.
Stop breaking shit. There we go. Good. Don't touch it.
I identify as
the god of destruction.
I mean, if I'm Vidar, Odin's son.
That's who the god of destruction is?
Well, he's the god of vengeance and also primal nature. So nature in its primal form is extremely destructive.
It is.
Yeah. So,
But all I'm going to ask is these superpowers stay canned up until we're done with the podcast.
you have a force of nature sitting at this table, so you have to understand that if I break something, don't worry, I will pay for it. Okay, just so you know.
I'm worried about
So
you.
you know,
Actually,
I
I'm not
take-
worried about you actually breaking anything.
You really should be.
Should I?
Oh my God, I've broken so many things, dude.
All right, well,
I mean,
sit there and don't touch anything.
I'm trying. It's not easy. You
touch
see me holding my own hand.
Yeah,
You see what I'm doing here?
Yeah,
I'm gonna Kimura
give yourself your
myself in
Kimura grip.
In 2 seconds, I'm gonna fucking start.
Cover my watch, cover their watch.
You don't know how many other manimals are inside me right now wanting to fuck with this mic.
Well, tell me and distract yourself. Tell me what it was like and why you got into martial arts.
Okay, so, well, first I was fat. So
How fat?
265.
Damn. Yeah. So about what I was 270 in high school.
Not muscle. I was
me
like
either.
fat. Although maybe a little muscle because they call me Chub Rock.
If I was 270 muscle, bro.
I was thinking now that they took USADA out of the UFC, I told Ray, I was like, listen, I'm thinking about TRT Manimal, me versus Kron Gracie. Let's go.
What do you mean they took him out?
They took out USADA. They
What's-
put in there, USADA was the testing body for UFC that tested for drugs.
Oh.
And they put in a different organization, which seems like it's kind of like in their pocket.
So they're going to turn, you're saying they're going to turn their cheek to certain
Hold on.
things?
Can I say something? Hold on. Let me tell my story first, and I'm going to tell you my opinion on John Jones' pec injury.
Oh,
You
okay.
probably heard before.
Oh, I probably haven't. You got to realize I have mostly just like fitness people. I don't have a lot of people in the martial arts world. It's now changing because my network is expanding to martial arts type stuff.
Well, I mean, I used to be big in the fitness world, but not really anymore. When I had my CrossFit gym, I was like into it more, but you know, jiu-jitsu is just the way for me.
I gotta be honest with you, I'm enjoying jiu-jitsu. It's like the world that it has. I've been enjoying it. I'm kind of
so
over the
good.
bodybuilding world,
It's so good. I like working out, but
but different.
you know. Oh, so listen. So first, so I was fat, and my whole young life until I went to maybe I was like a sophomore in college, so 19 or 20, and okay, so you're a video guy now. If I had these 3 cameras set up 25 years ago, this would have cost me like $100,000.
Oh yeah,
Okay. And we had a tape. Not only with the expense of the equipment, it was huge. It took a VHS tape. So I was like, I want to videotape me and my girl fucking. And I had a fat girlfriend at the time. So I'm going out with this fat girl, and I thought it looked hot. So I'm like, yeah, let's fuck. I set it up.
and you're 260 at this point,
yeah, and she was big too, maybe close to it. Big.
close to 260.
She was a big girl too.
Holy
I mean, don't
shit.
get me wrong, 70% in her ass. Enough that my mom, I remember, was like, I was like, she's fat, but it's a lot of ass. She's like, yeah, it's kind of deformed, like her ass is whatever. So that's not the moral of the story. So
What's the moral of this story?
I set up all the video and shit. I thought I was gonna watch it back and be turned on, and it was like fucking walruses. It was like,
Oh, it was a tough watch,
it was
wasn't
a tough
it?
watch.
It
I
was a
was like,
tough
I gotta get
watch.
my fucking life right here. I was like, I can't be. I was like, next time I'm on video fucking. That's why I asked you about OnlyFans. I was like, listen, I think I'm ready for a redo. I think I need.
Well, when we get you ready for the worlds, then you're ready for it.
Yes, I'll
get you back in shape.
I'll be in shape, ripped. I'll get, we'll do it upright. I'll get vindication. I told you I'm the god of vengeance. Vindication is part of vengeance.
There you go.
And even for yourself, right? Vengeance against your shittier self. So yeah, I need to redo at that point. So that got me starting to like lose some weight. So maybe before I started training, let's say I was like 235. I lost like 30 pounds. I went to the gym at my college. I went to John Jay. My undergrad's in forensic psychology and history. But so I went there.
My man goes deep. I love that.
I worked at the G building for like a year. They used to do a criminally insane unit in Brooklyn, and whatever. So that's a whole other story. It's like a whole other fucking slew of stories from that one. So I used to have a hardware store in Brooklyn. My family had a hardware store, and I'm working at the store. And one of the kids I hired, he's like 16 or 17, and I think at the time I was 19 or 20. I was probably 20, right? Because I started working out a little bit. And we're talking about fighting. I was a big UFC fan. And he was like, oh, I train.
At that time, it was like really kicking off.
99.
Yeah, it was really starting to kick off.
So he was like, oh, I train, kickboxing and all this shit. I was like, all right, cool. And he's like, I would kick your ass. And I was like, he was like $140. I was like, I fucking squash you, you little fuck. We could fight right now. I was just scrappy. I live in Brooklyn. Got my ass kicked sometimes, but usually not. But hey, sometimes you fucking get your jaw broken in the middle of the night and fucking wind up in another neighborhood, but that's another story. So,
don't do that, guys. oh God.
Still.
Oh.
So when I was 12 years old, I got jumped, got my jaw broke. Fucking someone hit me from behind with a pipe, and I woke up in another neighborhood.
You've been through some shit, man.
Dude, I got the DC backstory. My homie says, he's like, you're like a Marvel superhero with a DC backstory.
Yeah.
So my boy's like, oh, I'll fuck you up. I was like, I'll fuck you up right here. He's like, no, come to where I train. I was like, all right, where you train? And it happened to be like right up the block from my store. It was like above the movie theater, like up the block. I was like, oh, all right, when? He was like 7. He's like, but we train like 2.5 hours, 7 to 9:30. I was like, all right, seems long, seems excessive. I was like,
This is when you're out of shape now.
I would just started working out, but I was out of shape. I was 230.
Yeah.
Like I just imagine like you started working out 3 months.
Yeah.
I was working out for like 3 months. Yeah. Nothing.
Everything's making you sore.
I was dying, dude.
Yeah.
So we go there and it's like an old school Jeet Kune Do place. Jeet Kune Do is Bruce Lee's martial art. But this guy who did it, Sifu Ralph Mitchell, he did everything. He was a judo black belt. He did Muay Thai. He did like the kumite in the 70s. Super badass, very fighting oriented, and he had a small crew of pretty badass dudes. And Felipe was a kid that's been training with him for like 6 or 7 years. And I go there and I'm like, all right. So Felipe, I was like, what do I tell him? He's like, tell him you want to spar. I was like, oh, okay. So I tell the guy, I was like, I want to spar. He's like, you train? I was like, not really. He was like, I was like, but I was the street fight guy. I was like, I get in a lot of fights though. He's like, all right, whatever. So class starts and he did a half-hour jump rope. Start.
Yeah.
I fucking throw it up already. I can't jump rope. I'm fat. I never jumped rope before.
Jumping rope is brutal if you're not
Dude, I
used
never
to it.
did it in my life.
Isn't that crazy how just one little piece of equipment like that could just not only...
I'm already dying.
Yeah, could not only fuck you up like that, but condition you over the long term. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, already bad. So I'm already having a bad time. Then they did like 20 minutes of conditioning. Squats, burpees, sit-ups, all this shit. Then they were like, okay, they did like 20 minutes of pad work. I'm like, fucking throw it up.
Yeah, when are we going to fight?
Then they're like, all right, now we spar. I'm like, all right, I'm dying. 30 seconds go by, and I'm fucking dying, and I have no control, and I'm a total dick. And then I'm dying, and then everyone's kicking my ass. The guy that owns Budokan, Nardu, he fucking sidekicks me, and it's a hardwood floor, and I fucking slide across the
You're
floor.
fighting on a hardwood floor?
So you slide, just kickboxing, but if you fall, you fall.
Yeah, you fall, man.
You fall on the hardwood floor. So he sidekicks me. Right, and I fly across this hardwood floor. I fucking run in the bathroom to take a 5-minute break.
What did that break consist of?
Mostly throwing up.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, mostly I would, I got fucking speed bumps all over my face from getting punched in the face this far. I'm like, fuck. Then they're like, now we grapple. I was like, now we grapple. I was like, well, I really liked grappling. I always liked grappling. Even in street fights, I'm like, oh, I'm a big dude if I get on top, right? So, they lay out these old ass folding mats, and we start grappling. So I roll with Felipe, and he catches me in a triangle choke. All right. We go again, right? We do a 5-minute round. We go again in that round. I'm dead tired, and somehow I fucking catch him in a guillotine choke, and I catch him, and he taps. And fucking instructor's like, "Where the fuck you learned that?" I was like, "I told you, I watch a lot of UFCs." Yeah. So,
but it's still tough to get the hand placement and still know where to go.
And then we keep rolling. And whatever. And after he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. I like this. I was like, I think I want to be like a pro fighter. And he was like, you suck. I was like, I can't get worse.
That's true.
And then like 4 years later, I wind up turning pro. I started just in hard. So once we started, it was me, Nardu, and Philippe. We were like the treacherous trio in Brooklyn. We were Brooklyn guys. And I would go in the city to train at Henzo's. So once I started training, I just kind of fell in love with it. I got my ass kicked. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then Henzo's was in the city. I was going to John Jay. So I would make a break in my day. So I would go for the noon class with Danaher. And the noon class used to be...
Danaher used to teach in the city?
Hold on. Danaher's noon class... the noon class. Forget about Danaher. Hold on. I'll tell you the noon class lineup. Danaher, Matt Serra.
Damn.
Sean Williams. Who else? Ricardo Almeida, but he was on a day I usually wasn't there. And Nick Serra, and Rodrigo Gracie, and Rodrigo. So I got my blue belt and purple belt from Rodrigo. So Matt and Rodrigo used to teach noon classes in the city. Then they wound up together in Long Island. They had both got their black belts right before I started. They were teaching like 3 days a week in the back of a karate school in Valley Stream, which is only like 20 minutes from me in Brooklyn. So me and my homies were going out there. And Rodrigo and Matt had the school together. So I actually got promoted by Rodrigo, blue and purple. Well, actually blue, and then Matt opened up East Meadow and Rodrigo opened up Limbrook because, they both outgrew it really quick. I mean, you got 2 stars there, just like in the back of a karate gym. We were rolling on puzzle mats.
Oh, shit.
It was like hard puzzle mats.
Yeah,
dude, our knees were fucked up.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, we were wrestling hard. We were training for hard. We thought we were training hard.
What I find really cool about all this, though, is you have so many all-stars that are not only teaching you, but giving you the fundamentals, this and that, but you actually earned your belt. Like, there's a lot of spots that I've seen just from different schools and whatnot, and they almost just hand out belts, and it's like you're actually earning your belt from these types of practitioners.
You know what? I mean, I've told my students this before. I mean, I know you got to kind of do it, especially if you run a business. If you run a business, it's important ranking people as part of that business model. If you run a jiu-jitsu school, unless you say that's not part of your business model, then it's just for fun, like a yoga studio, that's fine too. But if you want to rank, that becomes like a business model decision to me. As far as skill proclivity, old martial arts only did it 2 ways. You're a white belt or a black belt.
Really?
That's it. You're a white belt or a black belt. And then Jigoro Kano codifies the system. This way you could actually have some better rankings so that
way it's not just like white or black. It's like there's the middle area that show the skills.
Then you put it in schools in Japan, right? So if you want something to have a curriculum, right, it has to be codified how you progress through this curriculum and how you get ranked through this curriculum and what entails a graduation from this curriculum and what you need to do to pass it, right? So he codifies it a little better and puts in a few ranks, but originally it's nothing. And then if you think about fighting, there is no rank unless you're the champ. So codifying the belt's great for business. As far as me, I go by Machiavelli's quote. It's not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles, which means it doesn't fucking matter. You got to protect your own shit.
Yeah.
So
that's been my thing. There's a lot of people that have said, how many stripes you get, how many this and that. And I'm just like, to be honest with you, I just never, me personally looking at belts and looking at being so new into all this, I never want to be the dude that's a blue belt or a purple belt. And then people go, what belt are you? And you go, oh, I'm a purple belt. And they go, oh, I never want to be that guy. I want to earn it. I want to know the things that I need to know. But I know it's also at the same time, it's a lifetime type of a situation. You're always learning no matter what belt you are.
When I got my black belt, I told myself, now I'm ready to learn jiu-jitsu. Like now I can actually do it. To me, your black belt is a bachelor's degree. Maybe some people say it's a doctorate. Maybe a purple belt, a bachelor's. But even a doctorate, what does a doctorate say? Doctorate says now I can do my own research. Right. That's what, when you get your doctorate, it essentially means that you've researched a theory here, which is your style. My dissertation would be my style, right? And then I have to defend my dissertation. I have to defend my style against all comers.
And what's cool is you get to make this style your own, really. Then that's
Jiu-jitsu
what makes
the most unique art of that. Because most, some arts, and especially in sports you see this, that the art will dictate the form, right? So every linebacker looks about the same. Be hard to differentiate, You're like, oh, those guys are built pretty much the same.
Yeah, they all look.
Every running back.
If you take jersey names and numbers off of them, generally they all look the part.
If you just had the outline,
yeah,
you'd be hard to differentiate. But fighters,
that's not a quarterback.
That's not a quarterback. No, that dude is not a quarterback.
That's not a quarterback.
He's not a safety.
Yeah.
Where's the punter? Where's the short, fucking thick-legged dude? Right, they look a certain way.
Yeah.
In fighting, you can really span the gamut of body types, and every body type can develop a style in jiu-jitsu. And, I have a goal in life, and it's tough because I think jiu-jitsu and martial arts in general, but jiu-jitsu especially to me, because that's the way my bread's buttered. I'm a 3rd-degree black belt, right? So.
And how long, and out of how many years did it take to get to there?
Well, it took me 10 years to get my black belt. And then after that, it's essentially time in. Every 3 years, you get a stripe to 3rd, and then every 5 years after that.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to know roughly the timeline.
I forgot what I was saying then.
You were talking about now you're a 3rd-degree black belt.
So a lot of time in there, and for me it's tough. It's like
She said now you're starting to learn. Now you're starting to learn the sport once you got the black belt.
I was saying in 5 years now. Well, once I got my black belt, I was like, now I can learn. But I still learn new stuff. I still go, when I can, once or twice a week to Henzo Brooklyn because Calistine competes in ADCC. He did very well. He has that new style game. And it's super important for me to keep exploring that. Oh, that's what I was saying. The black belt's like your dissertation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, you have this theory. The theory is your game, and now I have to defend it. And Some days I don't want to go do my dissertation. I don't want to defend my dissertation, and that's fine. So that's okay too. But like your style is that, and I think once you get to like purple belt, you should kind of like have your own style. But even if I watch my matches from like blue belt, I had a couple moves that I did like to do, and there was this one cradle that I watched me do it, and I was like, oh, I haven't done this in a while, and I did it. And I was like, yo, shit's so money.
Yeah.
Why did I take this out? What's tough for me doing it so long actually is that I know this is like a common diss, but I've forgotten more things than you've ever learned. It's true. So like sometimes I'll forget stuff and it'll be hard to go through the recesses of my brain.
Well, it's like a Rolodex. It's like where are you pulling a card from and what move list?
Some things are just lost. There's some things that I've been trying to remember this move Rodrigo showed me from a stack pass for the last 8 years. I fucking can't remember it. And no one remembers it.
Really? Nobody remembers it?
Fuck it. I can't grab Rod. I'm like, what the fuck was this move? It was super dope. It was like off the stack. Off the stack, he would grab your forearm and kind of get you in like a reverse Kimura omoplata. And I can't fucking remember how to do this shit from fucking shit fuck.
I can't remember how to do an omoplata.
So I'm like, fuck. So there's so much in my head that I was like, oh, I used to do this. And then there's some moves that like you do and people learn the defense. And then you can just, once people stop doing it again. So like, it's like warfare. Once I make, I have a stick. Okay. And I hit you in the head with a stick. Now you make a helmet. Now I make a fucking a mace. Boom. And I smash.
Make some armor.
Now you made armor. I made a weapon. Now I make a bullet. Now we keep arms racing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I have this, super defense system. I have these missile systems so that now I elevated where I stabbed you, you shot me, right? We elevated the game. And now we're in, total war out here. And you could still get bit by a mosquito and get malaria.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like you're still, the defense still might not be there. So you're always elevating this game. And what happens in jiu-jitsu is you might get away from a certain move. So that's why I went back to just only doing straight ankle locks now. Because only straight ankle, straight knee. Because the straight locks, everyone defended against them and then developed heel hooks. Now everyone's defending against the heel hook. And now I go back to my straight ankle.
You go right
lock.
back.
Yeah, and I don't even fuck with the heel hook because all the defense they want to do is wrong. Right? They're so used to escaping a heel hook. Humans believe easily what they wish, and they also do easily what they're used to doing. So if you put the fucking straight ankle on a dude, if he's so used to escaping a heel hook, he will actually just start doing that defense. Anyway.
And sink him in even deeper sometimes.
And sink it in even deeper. So it depends. That's a little next level thinking, I guess.
I haven't touched a lot of leg stuff yet. I think you were the first one that I did leg stuff with the Achilles.
I just like the straight leg. First of all, it's safer because you can apply it slower and get the tap. That's my opinion. And I think it's harder to defend. There's only one or two good defenses for it. And they don't usually land you in a counter leg lock. They just wind up on bottom.
Yeah. And I guess like the defense of that one was like sitting on their foot type of situation and then rolling out.
And then you keep sliding out and come up.
So you just keep coming through.
With the foot I sit on, I just keep coming around that side. And I wish more guys that train would do jiu-jitsu, but you kind of have to soften your ego a little bit to do it, which I think is hard for people. That's what I was trying to say. Jiu-jitsu to me is way undervalued for what it gets paid. And I feel like there should be, the value of jiu-jitsu should be way more elevated than it currently is. Because you don't want it to be something that's inaccessible to the people that really need it. And a lot of times the guys that I find really need it and you need the right approach for them is, I work with a lot of over 40 people, over 40 guys and a couple girls.
Super important for women.
First of all, the only art that women should learn is jiu-jitsu. Maybe a little striking if they want, but honestly, if you don't fucking hit me hard and you got to be hitting me like Amanda Nunez hard, I'm probably not going to respect it. I fought at 145 pounds as a guy, and I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but if I spar a 145-pound girl, don't get me wrong, of course I'm a skilled dude, but I'm gonna fucking smash her face.
No, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
You know,
there's
but
no
jiu-jitsu wise, I was rolling with a good brown belt girl the other day, and she got on my back.
Yeah, she was
She didn't finish me because I'm good.
She was pushing it.
She got on my back, which means that a dude that don't know something, she'd fucking be putting that dude to sleep. So
and she needs that to be able to. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, she ain't gonna knock me out.
No, to be able to put the choke on out and then get out of there.
And let me tell you, all that shit, like kick dudes in the nuts, all that stuff. You better hope that you fucking kick that dude in the nuts so hard and then can run away, because I would be so fucking heated. I would have went from trying to rob you to kill you then.
Yeah.
Like, you kicked me in the fucking
I mean, the other night when we were training, we were training in your group, I got fucking kneed in the balls at least 5 times. Don't get me wrong, it fucking hurt,
yeah,
but it wasn't enough to stop me. Like, I kept going.
Imagine if someone did that to you in a fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, then I would go to 120%.
Because instead of being like, dick, you'd be like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, no, I let up a little bit. When I got hit, I let up a little bit. I was like, all right, just take the submission. It's cool. He had me in something where he trapped my arms over the top, and he almost like S-clamped me from the back, and then he spread me out with his legs because I was trying to pass his guard. He spread me out, and dude, I just felt that knee hit my ball and then just rolled. My ball just rolled off the knee, and I just went, all right, we're good, bro. Just take the submission. I'm okay with it. Yeah.
But yo, if it's a fight, that's gonna piss me off. I remember we had this like Krav Maga guy come down once, and he's like, I can't spar with you guys because, you know, my shit is lethal. And I'm like, all right, whatever you want to do, I'll do. Yeah. If you gouge my eye, I will fucking gouge your eye. I know I learned that when I was 5. All those techniques that you learn, I learned when I was 5 years old.
Krav Maga is a very interesting martial art. I don't know
my boy that does it good.
I don't know too much on it.
Hold on, my boy that does it good.
That's the Israeli martial art, correct?
My boy that does it good is really good. But to preface it, he also was really good before he ever did it. Right? And now he has some street techniques to go along with a very good stand-up background. But one of my homies runs Krav Worldwide, and he runs a great thing. And of course, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to hate on anyone. I think Krav is great. It's great to learn a martial art. However, for me, I think jiu-jitsu that's the way my bread's buttered. It's the far superior art. You're more likely to me, this is an opinion, especially for women, dude, you're going to be able to actually, you know, I have a funny story.
You're going to be able to actually what, though? Say it.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay. I was going to say, don't stop, because then you won't remember.
Hold on, I'll tell you now. So my sister-in-law, I started training her in jiu-jitsu when she was like maybe 16. And she was a virgin, right? And I teach the girls, I'm like, listen, this might sound weird, but if it's a rape situation, they're going to want to be in your guard.
Yep.
Right? Just tell them, put your hands on their titties. Put your hands on my titties. I was like, and look at the triangle from here. Flop. And so.
Oh, yeah. So just slide the leg over and that's it.
Bro, if I'm like, just grab my titties, boom.
Yeah.
That shit is on, right? That triangle goes on like that. And the dude's like, hey, yo, right? So my sister-in-law, maybe she was almost 18 and she was going to lose her virginity. She was like, dude, the guy put his hands on my chest. I fucking triangled him. I was like,
killed him. That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, the instinct.
Yeah, out cold.
But if she would have punched him in the face, I mean, maybe then he would have choked her and then they could have got free.
It's such a tough scenario, just like, because you don't know what it's going to be.
What?
You don't know what it's going to be. You don't know how it's going to go down. So you have to really just hone all the skills. That's really what it comes down to.
Oh, I want to do an interview like that for a match. I want to be like, I've been working every position, hard, hours and hours, doggy style.
You have to,
missionary.
but you have to like look them in the and I've exclusively been training with Nick. What?
Actually, I have an announcement to make.
Do you actually have an announcement to make?
I'm actually not going to train with guys anymore. I was thinking about it.
Shut the fuck up. I'm over you.
I'm training with girls.
I'm over you. Shut up.
I was thinking about, a dude's nutsack was in my face
dude,
the other day.
I'm telling you, man.
Just thinking to myself, I was like, I should only train with girls. Why do I want to do this to myself?
I'm telling you, man. I got put into my first week at Sarah's. I got put into. It was a Kimura situation, but even before then, I was literally on my back fighting off, and I didn't know how to frame properly at the time. I still don't know how to frame properly. I didn't know how to frame properly, and the dude, I was watching his sweat just on his chin, and I'm just like this. I'm like, oh, that is not going to hit me in the face, bro. And it just right in my face, and I just went, oh, dog. I was like, that's it. Ever since then, it's like, that's it. I don't care anymore. Whatever.
Dude, I feel so bad sometimes because I sweat a lot, especially if
I
I'm
do
drinking
too.
a lot of water, and I'll be mounted and just like sweating at 2 times. I'm like, there's nothing I can.
Or if I do a collar tie and I bring their head next to mine and we're like rubbing faces next to each other.
This is why jiu-jitsu doesn't get the popularity it deserves, because it is difficult to get through that. I personally have a belief, like if I could train, so I like the over 40 group, and sometimes it's inaccessible. It's like I don't want to come and like, have someone try to kick my ass, some young kid, some dude in his 20s,
Some try hard.
who's competing, and and especially if a guy has a gig that relies on his body. So like a lot of guys, I train like Siege, and it's hard if he goes to a class, right? Is he gonna get something out of it? Yeah, but that guy got to be up at 5 a.m, working with clients, doing his workouts, right? He has to be mindful of his training. It can't be go to a class 5 days a week.
Well, that's me when I train too, because that's why I don't want to do a tournament yet too, because in my mindset, I'm just like, I don't want to risk an injury like that.
So for these guys, I think it's better if you could. I like to teach like a small group private, and that's what I like to do a lot of. So I'll have like Siege, and now I got like, it just so happens I got Siege, Kerry, and Jackie.
I love Kerry.
Kerry's the best.
Kerry's the homie.
Yeah.
She's great.
She's my homie.
NyQuil.
Yeah. Kerry's great. Dude, jiu-jitsu's getting good.
I'm sure she.
Yeah,
Listen,
when
man.
she got a blue belt, it made her feel okay. It made her feel comfortable.
That's good.
She was, I was like, yeah, I know you're kicking everyone's ass, but that's good. I was like, that's why I'm like, I don't really honor the title. It's like, just keep kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah, just have fun.
That's all. Yeah. No, fuck fun.
Well, that's fun. That's
No,
fun.
I'm just kidding.
That's
I'm
fun
just
for
kidding.
me.
Fuck fun. If you're not first,
You're last.
No,
Ricky Bobby.
it depends. There's a time and a place for all those emotions, right? There's times where I just want to get high and fucking roll with my homies, and then there's times where I want to go hard.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. So
I've found that I'm rolling with specific people now. Like I found that I have the people that I trust in class.
Mm-hmm.
That's really been big for me.
So I would love to have it that I had like if I ever wanted a gym, I would set it up more exclusive, and it would be maybe like 50 or 60 members max. You charge a higher end, and then you do all like 4 to 8 person classes, and then you could organize it around people, and you'd have to find the right clientele, but then I would make it like mad exclusive, like key card. You come in whenever you want. You want to roll, me and you want to roll, or you and a dude want to, just rep. Well, you know the number.
Go through.
Yeah, go through. Get a couple of rooms. You can rent out studio space as
That's
long
cool.
as you're a member, and you could charge like, it got to be up there. Got to be at least $350 and up, right? But essentially, you're getting a small group private every time, and open access to a gym studio setup. Like you put a studio in there. You can sign up for the time slots. Can make it super dope. I'll put a sauna, steam room. I got a little vision for a little Manimal Kingdom.
You'll be able to do that.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, little by little, man.
Yeah, especially if I find the right crew. I only have one problem in my life usually, finances. So, sometimes.
Find the right investors, or you have to just piece it together over time.
Yeah, that's why I'm always thinking about OnlyFans. I'm like, fuck, if I can make $30,000 a month.
OnlyFans.
To OnlyFans, guys, can I put my feet on the table and show them?
No, they already saw it. They saw it at the beginning of the episode.
Can you do me a favor? Text or call Nikki Rizzles. Do you want me to
No,
text out your number?
Absolutely not.
Okay, then shoot him
Absolutely not.
Shoot him a message. Slide into
Don't
his
shoot me a
DMs.
message. Don't shoot me a message.
Shoot him a message.
I won't
If
answer.
If you want to see it to OnlyFans,
I will not answer.
Nikki Rizzles could be my pimp.
Nope.
No?
Digital pimp. That's what I call them. Digital pimps.
Yeah. Oh, no? Okay, so if anyone wants a to OnlyFans from me, let me know.
Yeah, hit
And
him directly.
If you want to be my pimp,
my digital pimp.
my digital pimp, then
Yeah.
let me know. I'm open. I could really use like $500,000.
$500,000.
Yeah, so if I could, I figured that what it would take.
It's a lot of feet pics.
Well, just the right feet picks.
Or just the right one.
Just the right ones.
One foot pick for
Really?
$500,000.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm open to sugar daddies and sugar mamas too.
I have a lot of girls that I know that get those requests, and that always amazes me. The dudes are just like, "Hey, can I give you an allowance of $3,000 a month?" I'm like, "What?
Yo, I have a girl.
Who is spending this?"
One of my female friends. She's not only fit. She's just like a spiritualist. Just my homegirl, and she's cute. But she's like, yo, dudes will just Venmo me money.
Nah, it's strange. That's strange. Guys got to, guys, as a collective group, as a species, we got to tighten it up, guys. It's relax.
It's one thing
Relax.
if you have an OnlyFans, you're actively soliciting it.
Relax.
It's one thing if you're actively soliciting it and you pay for it. If you just send a random girl money,
that's crazy.
It's a little crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah.
It's like, why'd you send this girl? Did you think you were going to buy this girl?
My boy Tyler was on the podcast.
She'll tell you if she's for sale, bro.
She will tell you, and she makes it very apparent.
You will know.
My boy Tyler was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and we were laughing because he says, if I see one more girl post that they're on a bachelorette party and they put up the link, buy the bride a drink, he's like, why the fuck am I buying her a drink? She's taken. Go ask her fiance to buy her a drink. Why am I supporting this?
No, you know what grinds my gears?
Stupid.
I'll tell you what grinds my gears.
Give it to me.
When fucking billionaire celebrities ask for your donations.
Oh, you're talking about specifically The Rock and Oprah Winfrey?
That's one. That's a funny one. Yeah, that's a funny one. It's like, bitch, you bought Hawaii. Like, come on, stop it. And then you want me to give why? So I could drain my funds? Like, you fucking fund it. Like, all this shit that they asked for funding for, it's like all these charitable things. I'm like, dude, you're literally a billionaire.
You're a billionaire.
Just fucking liquidate.
It's a tax write-off for you. Just do it.
Well, that's why they build places in Africa, because then you look like a hero for like
look like a hero. Grand. Well, that's so my mom brought up Mr. Beast to me. She's like, "Do you know who Mr. Beast is?" And I was like, "Yeah, pretty sure everybody knows who Mr. Beast is. I don't watch his videos, but I know who he is."
Not really, but I know of him. Yeah,
exactly.
It seems like he does good things.
Well, that's the thing. She was saying, the good things he does, this and that. I go, Mom, he's got more money than he knows what to do with. He's got to do that stuff. He's got to do it to look like he's in the. He could be the biggest piece of shit we don't even know about, but because he's got so much money that he has to have his write-offs and this and that.
Let's think about it in relation to percentages. So, like, okay, let's say you make $100,000 a year. If you give $10,000 to a charity, that's 10% of your income. All right, now let's say you make $1 million a year and you give $10,000. Well, that's only 1% of your income. Okay. Well, if you make $10 million, that's 1/10%. Right now, if I'm a billionaire and I give $100,000 to something, that's not even a 1,000%. It's nothing. Yeah. It's like when you bought a coffee this morning. It wasn't really that when you were like, I'm going to get an energy drink, they didn't really stress you out that much. That's the equivalent. So you have to understand that the resources that you're talking about, what they make look like it's impressive is a nothing burger to them. Yeah, and then they always go to a place that fucking the value of your money is crazy.
Yep.
You go build a hospital in Africa and it costs you like $50,000 and you're like, I built a hospital. Yeah, why'd you do it in Africa? Because in America for $50,000 you get a sink. And it didn't look as impressive. Oh, I put a sink in Detroit. $50,000. Yeah. Right?
I added one water filter in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, what do you do in New York? I tell you what, $50,000. If I want to redo my kitchen, it'll probably cost $25,000, right? Permits, all that shit. If I want to do it right, $25,000. $25,000 in Africa, you get a fucking school.
Yeah.
So you look like a hero, and then they obfuscate their funding that way. Oh, I'm a good person. It's like which is tough because I do want a charity. I might have to do my BJJ Superheroes as a charity. I run a kids event too.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So my main company is Manimal Media. Manimal Media does event services for whatever event needs servicing. Mainly
Token Choke.
Also BJJ Superheroes. I ran one of those as an in-house. Went very well. So I know you wouldn't normally associate me with doing kid stuff, but I turn no cursing. I host.
You turn it off.
No cursing.
Turn the Manimal off.
No, I don't turn the Manimal off. I just don't curse. That's all.
So you take a little bit of the Manimal and turn it off.
I could not curse. I'm just saying. I could use. I can speak without it. I can be mindful of my words.
Of course, we all can.
I just rather not because that's when you get gold to me. But if I have to measure my words, I can measure my words.
Yeah, of course.
I did at the event.
It's just easier to be able to just be free.
Mostly out of spite, though, because my wife's her initial thought was, I'm going to do a kids event. And I was like, oh, watch.
It's going to go great.
It did. It really killed. Thank the gods. Praise Odin. But we'll probably run a 2-day kids event in the morning. Can't do Token Choke again. I want to rebrand as Valhalla Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
And then you could do the 2 event in a day.
I feel like I've heard Valhalla.
Jiu-Jitsu. Maybe, but there's no Valhalla Jiu-Jitsu championships trademarked.
Okay.
So if anyone has a dispute with that, let me know and we can settle that however you would like to. We could do a match.
I feel like that's what you guys should do. You guys, that should be the way to settle things in the jiu-jitsu community. If they have a trademark you want or a name, it's like, we could roll for it.
We could do a match, yeah. I mean, we could roll for it too. I love Dungeons and Dragons. So if they wanted, we could fight our characters off.
No, I was saying you are the character. That's what I was saying, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I could make,
Actually, you guys roll on the mats, not necessarily
no,
your
I
character.
could do that too. But then I'm also thinking if they wanted to
Not a D20.
if they wanted not to get their ass kicked, then we could just roll D20s.
There you go.
Yeah, and then we could actually make it fair.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, unless the guy's like one of the best guys in the world, I think I should be okay.
You should be good.
I think I should
can hold
be
your own.
okay. Yeah, as long as he's not like one of the best dudes in the world, I think I'll be all right. So how do we bring the value of jiu-jitsu? And that's really what I'm trying to do with the competitions too. I don't know if you've seen, but I'm trying to really not just like look cool for the spectators, which plenty of people do that, but I'm trying to make it in the simplest ways, the best experience for the athlete. And I did a pretty good job, and I want to keep making the athlete experience better and better. And I think that's something sorely lacking. Even when I go to what's supposed to be a big martial arts show, they don't have enough warm-up space.
Yeah.
One mat. Like, and you know why? Because these guys never got punched in the face before. They never had to warm up for a fight. They don't know dick about fuck.
The guys you're saying the guys on the board and the guys that are actually putting on.
All the people that do it. I'm not all the people. I'd say 90% of the people involved in mixed martial arts are like virgins telling you how to fuck. Okay, they never fought. They never been in the locker room. They never did a training camp. They never did none of that shit. And now they lord over fighters, much the same model as ancient Rome. It's the same thing. Okay, every gladiator is what? A slave. A gladiator is a slave. Yes. Yeah.
They fought for entertainment for the higher ups.
Yeah, that's the same model that they have. Oh, you don't like it? We'll get another dude. This is the pay. Oh, you don't like it? Go somewhere else. Francis Ngannou, we don't care how big of a name you are. Get the fuck out.
Is that what happened with him at the UFC?
Apparently.
Yeah, I don't know.
They didn't want to give him what he wanted. And he went and got like 30 mil from this fight.
Yeah, from the Tyson fight, which I'll tell you what, man. I didn't watch the whole fight, but I saw some things, and he
looked good.
He looked good
for what it was.
For what it was, and going against the champ.
I mean, he looked better than fucking Deontay Wilder, who's the number one contender.
Yeah.
That would be a great fight, Deontay Wilder. Now Francis Ngannou has opportunities here.
Yeah.
To be making, he gives some new life into that. You know, thank the gods that it didn't work out with him in the UFC, because I actually think that this is good for boxing as a martial art. You know, boxing is a martial art, and boxing's kind of on the decline. Would look to me, even though the paydays are crazy, I don't understand it.
I don't know where that money comes from, man.
Gambling? Where's it coming from?
I don't know. It's crazy when you see some of those money. Not
overseas. Where's it coming from?
Yeah, not only just like the venues and the build up and the promotional stuff and all that, but just seeing how much one fighter gets, win or lose. It's crazy.
And I want MMA fighters first to get that pay, and then
well, MMA is a much more brutal sport.
Yeah, and then jiu-jitsu guys also. You know, there's nothing wrong with elevating jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu should be elevated too. Maybe not the same money as a UFC fighter, but you should be able to make a living as a professional jiu-jitsu guy.
No, you're putting your joints and your limbs on the line, man.
And only the top guys are. You know, so, and then what I want to do with my show is I want to really make it shine. Wait, the next one, I'm ironing out all the issues. We should be able to do something in December, right before. We'll see if we get a show in right before Christmas. We'll do that December 17th weekend, hopefully. And, we'll run the kids event in the morning. I'll do a cleaner adult event at night. But I want to make it sick. So if we do Valhalla Jiu-Jitsu, then when we come out onto the ramp, we'll make gates. And it'll be like you come out the gates of Valhalla, we'll click them open. And then play the music and have the guys walk out. So I could make it super sick. You know I love the vibe. I know everyone loved the vibe of Token Choke, and I'm going to bring Token Choke back 420, but we're going to bring it back big. So next year we'll do 420. We'll rent an outside space. We'll get some music, and we'll do that shit big. I'll fucking work on my sponsors for months. We'll do one crushing event, and maybe I do want to redo on my Halloween event.
Okay.
I did spend $500 on my costume.
Yeah, you were excited for that one.
I spent $500. Yeah, you know I like to dress up.
Well, I know you like to dress up. The weed outfit was fantastic for the last one.
Dude, the one I wore for the kids one was good too. Orange tiger stripe.
Fire.
It was actually one of my favorites. Actually, the orange tiger stripe one was my favorite.
Fire.
The weed one was good. The leopard print one I wore to the garden was great. I got a snakeskin one that's good. I want to get for the Valhalla one. I really just, if it's Christmas, I might just be Odin Claus.
Odin Claus.
Krampus. Oh, the other reason Odin is Santa Claus. So all the mythological things around Odin, are closely related to Santa Claus. So Odin has mythical creatures that are always with him. So, because Odin is like the ultimate shaman, essentially. Odin is the head of the Norse pantheon, but he's also the god of war, death, life, poetry.
What about Tyr?
Tyr is the god of victory and war. Tyr is the head of the war pantheon before Odin supplants him later on in the evolution of the mythology.
Gotcha.
So Tyr is probably one of the head war deities in Germany before the cult of Odin comes in and kind of supplants it as the main war god worship. But Odin, not really a war god in the sense that he's a god of transformational experiences. The most transformational experiences, death, right? Super transformational. When you change all that energy that you were using to maintain this physical form, and then you change that energy into whatever it is you change it to.
Yeah.
So,
Whatever happens.
war, combat. Like I told you, combat's a psychedelic experience. If you're privy to this, every battle transforms you. No man is the same after each fight. It changes your trajectory in life. It's like planetary collisions. Poof. One goes one way, and you see this all the time when you watch it in fights. You know what the collision? One goes one way, one's career goes this way. If this one would have glanced, if this fight would have went this way, then
then he would have gotten the opportunity, this and that.
if you didn't lose this fight, you wouldn't have got this opportunity. Like with Matt and Cal Parisian, if he didn't lose the Cal Parisian fight, he wouldn't have got the chance on the comeback show, and he would have had to fight 10 fights to get the GSP. Right? You don't know how that would have worked out.
Yeah.
So where the fuck was I going with that? The universe has a plan. Praise Odin. But I was going somewhere else with that. And I totally got lost. Odin has a couple of sacred creatures, right? So it has the ultimate shaman. He has an 8-legged horse, Sleipnir. What are we at?
Oh, no, I just checked the levels.
Oh, I thought you were checking how long we were going.
No, just checking the levels.
So Odin being the god of transformational experiences, death being transformational, war, combat, right? Transforming you, poetry, right? Odin gets the meat of poetry, so the spoken word, extremely transformational. You might hear something that changes your life, right? Also the god of the runes. So Odin has several sacred quests that he undertakes to become essentially a god. So depending on how you interpret the mythology, Snorri Sturluson, one of the Scandinavian authors and historians, puts Odin as a Trojan prince. Right? He puts him historically somewhere. And then through his journeys, after the fall of Troy, right, everyone's spread out. Aeneas winds up founding Rome. All these Trojan princes, right, are thrown to the winds, and a powerful people with a powerful history that wind up, being legendary founders of these other places. And Snorri Sturluson likes to put Odin as one of these guys that winds up in Norway. He does several sacred initiation rites, and the first one is he finds the world tree Yggdrasil. So I don't know if you're familiar with this tree iconology of the world tree. You ever study Kabbalah?
No.
That's the closest to Norse mythology, would be the way the Kabbalists do the world tree. You familiar with the tree of life?
Yes.
Okay, so Yggdrasil is the tree of life, translated directly as Yig, a name for Odin. Yig's steed. So Odin rides the tree Yggdrasil. So Odin finds this tree, this both mythological tree and also physical representation, probably of the North Pole. Probably winds up at the North Pole, right? He was already with the Samsi people. He probably winds up close to the North Pole, which he would have been close anyway. Does a ritual sacrifice of himself. So for 9 days and 9 nights, he hangs from the tree Yggdrasil. No bread, no mead. And after 9 days, he has that death experience where he goes to the underworld, and there he sees the runes. And when he sees the runes, he takes them up and incorporates them into his essence. And then in a flash of insight, he sees the way to work these powerful symbols to shape reality and also to create language. All of our letters are from the runes. There's a Proto-Indo-European language that our language comes from. Hard to trace who these people were, right? Very hard in history. But our language and all the languages around that region, English, Latin, Etruscan before it, are all from this Proto-Indo-European civilization that we have no fucking idea about what language they spoke. But
Pretty crazy.
But whatever language they spoke, all these languages are descended from it. And the letters we use, the runes, this is the easier one to say. I don't know if you can see my titty.
I know what the runes look like.
Yeah, so each one a powerful symbol, also a letter, and also has a numerological value, very much like Hebrew alphabet. The Hebrew alphabet would be the sacred letters given to that people by their gods. The runes, the sacred letters given to the people of our region. Okay, probably from the Caucasoid Mountain to Norway. Okay, so he hangs from this tree of Drassel, 9 days and 9 nights. He pierces himself with his spear. He has a magic spear called Gungnir. Pierces himself with his spear, very similar to the Jesus mythology, right? Gets the runes, symbolically dies, and then is reborn, right? When he falls from the tree, now he's essentially a god man. Then he does another quest. So there's a sacred well of knowledge, Mimir's well. Mimir is the god of wisdom. And at Mimir's well, whatever you sacrifice into that well, you get access to in all dimensions. So Odin sacrifices his eye. And when he puts his eye into the well and takes a drink of the sacred waters, he can see everything. Past, present, future, every dimension.
Is that why in some of the pictures and everything he's got an eye patch on?
Yeah, he sacrifices one eye for wisdom. And then he sees the magic mead. He knows everything now. And he also sees Ragnarok, how he's going to die and how he has to die. Because without dying, the god of transformational experience cannot himself have the most powerful transformational experience, which would be what a travesty for the god of death. So Odin sees his fate, Ragnarok, everything that comes about, and he also sees the magic mead. And he's like, well, I got to get that, right? So, but the magic mead is very difficult to get to. Only Odin could get this mead. The mead was made by the blood of the best poet, this giant Vasir, and he was killed by the dwarves, and they ferment his blood into mead. Anyone that drinks it is granted eloquence of speech, the poet's share, and anything they tell you, you will believe, right? So Odin's like, wow, I got to get the fucking magic mead, the mead of poetry. Yeah, I got to get this shit. But it's held by this giant Suttung. Deep within his hall, his savage daughter, Gunlod, guards this mead. And you can't even get to this dude's house, right? Suttung is a powerful giant. Consider him a god himself with a massive crew, an army of other giants. So Odin's like, fuck, how am I going to get the mead? So he finds out that there's going to be a feast. Suttung's hall is going to have a massive feast. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to get into the feast. So he finds Suttung's brother, and his brother has a farm. And so when he's walking past, he sees slaves working the field. And he sharpens one of their blades. And when they go to cut the wheat, it just all starts falling down. And they're like, oh, shit. They're all like, yo, give us the sharpen our blade. He's like, yeah, take it. And he throws it up, and they all kill each other for it. So when he goes to the giant's house, he's like, I noticed your dudes are all dead, but I happen to be a farmer, and I could do the work of those 9 guys for a year if you take me to the feast. He's like, well, no man could do the work of 9 men. Sure. Well, of course, Odin does the work of 9 men, right? And he takes him to the feast, and Suttung's like, you're a fucking idiot. Don't you know that's Odin? Like, who could do the work of 9 men? So Odin winds up, they bore a hole for him. He gets to Gunlod. He's like, fuck. He sees Gunlod. He's like, how am I going to get the mead? He bangs the shit out of her for 3 days.
Oh, Jesus.
So for fucking 3 days and 3 nights, he bangs the shit out of Gunlod. He promises to marry her, right? And he's like, no, Suttung, this is probably how it goes. This is how I interpret it.
Oh, yeah, this is how you interpret it.
No, this is how it goes.
Really?
Yeah, if the mythology, he bangs Gunlod for 3 nights because they tell him afterwards, he's like, then he grabs the mead, he turns into a bird, swallows the mead and flies out. Whatever drops out of his mouth falls onto earth. That's the poet's share. That's what we got. Okay? Takes the rest of the mead back to Valhalla. As he's getting chased by the giants, right, he's dropping some mead out of the bird mouth. When the giants get there, they're like, where's Odin? They're like, he left Gunlod betrayed at the feast, kind of alluding to the fact that he was like, listen, I'll marry you fucking this chick.
If you
And then got close enough, banged the shit out of her. He's like, no, I'll consecrate the marriage. Look,
just like that.
bang, 3 days, 3 nights, fuck like a god.
As a man or a raven?
As a fucking god.
Okay.
That's when you come as Harbard. So Odin has a sacred lover aspect, which is extremely powerful. He has a lover called Harbard. So by one name was Odin never known. So Odin is a many-faceted deity. So the sacred lover, love of an extremely transformational experience. Sex and love, extremely powerfully transformational.
To share energy.
That's what I told you the other day. I actually changed my mind about the way I'll love who Odin tells me. It's, so what you call it? So, whatever. So love, a very powerful transformational experience. He has a lover aspect called Harbard. And Harbard is like this divine male love god, his aspect, so that he could do whatever he needs to do in that field and be the archetype of that. If you ever watch the show Vikings, they have Harbard in it.
Oh, do they?
And he, like, when the men go to war, Harbard comes and starts banging all the chicks.
Great.
And then those are the descendants of Odin, right? The sons of Odin, right? When you're away,
Yeah.
Odin comes, starts banging all
Literally.
the chicks.
Literally
comes.
Literally.
Yeah, and he bangs Ragnar's wife so that her kid is a demigod.
And Odin's son.
It's Odin's son, yeah, but also Ragnar's son. He lets him claim his son because Ragnar essentially is descended from Odin also. So he's like, we got the same bloodline, you know.
Yeah, it's great.
But, and then
I'd be like, stay in Valhalla, man. Leave my chick alone.
There's a good interaction with Harbard and Thor. So Thor's trying to cross this river, and Odin disguises himself as Harbard, this divine lover. And Thor's like, let me get across the river.
Why would he try to trick his own son?
Why would he try to trick his own son? So I don't know what the relationship with your dad is, but your dad never tried to fuck with you or play a trick on you?
No.
Oh, okay, well.
No, the most my dad ever tried to fuck with me is like he would go like this to me. We'd be in a restaurant, and every time he'd go like this, he'd go, him? And I'd look and I go, and I'd turn around, he'd right in the back of my head, he'd go, stupid.
So similar to that, right?
Yeah.
Similar to that. He's like, bro, just give me a ride across the river. And he's like, where are you coming from? And he's like, oh, I was just fighting giants. He's like, where were you? He's like, I was banging 9 sisters.
There you go.
He's like, where were you? So they have this like exchange.
There you go.
On the river. And Thor's like, why are you telling me this? He was like, he's like, I'm banging all these chicks. He's like, I had 9 sisters. He's like, I fucked this one. He's like, yeah, I'm like, I love it. So that's how I'm a priest of Odin. Odin has many facets.
There you go.
You know?
There you go. All right. Ending on jiu-jitsu.
Oh, you want to end on jiu-jitsu? Let's go.
End on jiu-jitsu. I wanted to just ask you, what are some of the things that you think people should know coming into the sport, because it's a tough sport when you first start. And what do you think the turnover rate is? Because I actually wanted to ask you about that, because I feel like there's so many people that join the white belt class, but I don't feel like they actually continue.
You see what
it.
I'm saying about a little higher end program where I could do my guys over 40 could come do a small group. We'll make sure like they get the right experience. It's hard to get the right experience in jiu-jitsu. That's why the turnover rate's so high. It's like, think about the difference between personal training and jiu-jitsu. Like, think you go to workout gyms, right? Mm-hmm. How many people work out, even if it's not the same gym, forever? They do a workout. You might switch gyms, right? But most people, once they train in like fitness, they pretty much train. I mean,
yeah, they stay with it.
Even if they're not at your gym.
Generally.
Let's say they're like, oh, you know what? I was doing CrossFit at the gym, but I didn't really like doing CrossFit at the gym. Now I'm going to just buy the setup and do it at home. Right? That doesn't happen with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grappling yourself.
Even the dummy's stupid. It misses the whole point of the community aspect and all that. So if you think about the fitness model too, there's a personal training model, which is great for beginners. I'd say, like, if you think about it, think about how many personal trainers there are that get, or, you know, clients that maybe would never work out. And there needs to be a bridge like that for jiu-jitsu. Where's the personal training for jiu-jitsu that's also going to make the instructor a good amount of money? Because just classes can be tough, right? It's harder to manage unless you have that's why everyone loves it when a school first opens. Because it's not busy. The class is small. Oh, I went. It was only me and 3 guys. We got it was great, like a mini private, right?
Yeah.
So I think the perfect amount is like 4 to 8 people. And I would love a higher end place where I could put a bridge there. So guys, I would say don't be afraid to do some privates to start. It's very intimidating at first, especially if you're, I like the over 40 guys. Super intimidating to start. Even if you think, you're not intimidated, you probably are. All those things that you say hold you back from wanting to do it are just you being intimidated. And that's okay. I think it's okay. I think a lot of times we put barriers to what's keeping us from what we want to do and are making that barrier a false barrier. So you're like, I don't want to do this because at night, I play pool. Or I don't want to do this because, I have kids and then, okay, well, what about 6 a.m.? What about a noon play? Right, there's ways around that. They're making a barrier because the truth is I'm scared to do jiu-jitsu. I'm afraid I might get hurt. I don't know if I'll be any good at it. And I'm afraid that the time commitment at my age won't be worth it. This is what they want to tell you. But they can't tell you that because it's very vulnerable to open up and be like, wow, there's all these things stopping me from doing this. Even though it's something I want to do, I'd like to try to fit this in. But I'm so intimidated and so tentative for so many reasons that, I'm not even going to start. And I think that's a disservice. So I'd like to try to make a little bit better bridge. And then when you go into jiu-jitsu school, what if I have to do a class of 20 people the first day? And now I'm trying to do the movement. I'm like, coach, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Can you, there's 20 guys. Oh yeah, he helped me once. He showed me the move once. Like
the white belt class the other night was tough. It was
like my Tuesday.
We were doing takedowns and they were like 25, 30
like
people
my
in the
Tuesday
class.
night class is not my ideal. That's what I run because it's the vibe there and it's a cool vibe. But that's not how I would ever introduce someone to jiu-jitsu. Personal. Like I would never... if you weren't already doing jiu-jitsu, I'd be like, let's do a private before or after. And then I wouldn't probably have you roll during the class. Like, I'd probably be like, just chill. That's not the way I would ever want someone to do their first, training experience, which it happens a lot. And I'm like, dude, you want to talk about turnover? Well, if you come to that class, that's the way it's run. It's a 30-person class. I like it. I hype it up. I understand what it's for the young kids that need it. It's very important. I do like doing that. There's a big place for that. But first of all, there's no money in that. And second of all, it really is a disservice to the guy that wants to try to come in. He wants to train the law. And maybe, let's say, $125 an hour private is probably a little out of a guy's price range to do twice a week, right? For most guys, I'm going to say, what is that going to work out? $1,000 a month? Most guys aren't going to put $1,000 a month in their budget. But if I could get 4 guys together at, $35 or $40, well, now I make the same hour or a little bit better even. And now you have a much tighter group. It's a little more like if you think of the average class value at a unlimited jiu-jitsu spot, if it's $225 a month. If you go 10 times a week, that's $22.50 a class. Let's bump that up to like $40 a class and we'll shrink we'll shrink
the amount of people.
And then really the class could get cheap. If you got a guy who trains 5 days a week, that's 25 sessions 20 sessions a month. So that's a $12 class.
Yeah.
So now you got 20 guys in the class. That's a $240 class. At a $40 value, if I have 6 people, I have a $240 class. And they get a lot of value out of that.
Yeah.
And then that would be my preference to see how I could bring people in jiu-jitsu. So that's what I would like to do personally. So for the guys just starting, I'd say do a few privates first so you don't feel like a total spaz when you first go in. And, you really don't have to think about making this crazy time commitment. There's a lot of benefit to jiu-jitsu, even when you suck. Like just, first of all, the just being around some people of all different backgrounds is good. I think there's a lot of diversity in martial arts, more than anywhere else. I had this girl who was like a diversity and inclusion specialist at a law firm come to one of my fights. And I was like, you're in this field. Did you notice how diverse it is? There was someone from Brazil fighting. There was a mix of, Italian, African-American, African, Caribbeans, right? You might be from Jamaica, Canadians, right? I was like, the diversity. She's like, I didn't even think about it. I was like, that's your job. You didn't even think about it.
Yeah, because it just felt natural.
It just felt natural.
It's not forced. You don't feel like you have to. You don't feel like these people are around you because they have to be. You're all around you because of a common goal of wanting to be better and coming together for the love of a sport.
And just the sport in general, not just in one gym. I mean, cross gyms.
Yeah.
Listen, if you train in freaking...
I rolled
Iceland.
I rolled down in
white.
I rolled down in Charlotte when I went on vacation over the summer. I rolled down in Charlotte. It was great. Just the common love of just what we do. And it was cool to see how other places run their classes and how they're, what level of advancement that the athletes that are at that gym as well. It was cool. I liked it a lot. And that kid, I forget his name, Josh something. He's the kid who won Ultimate Fighter. He trains down there, so he was there while I was there.
Josh, not Emmett. Fuck, I'm trying to. Whatever.
Yeah, but he's super nice dude.
Making me go through the Rolodex now.
Yeah, that's right. So everyone was cool, man. But I love doing that, and I think that has opened up a new door for me as well. Traveling with my job and work to go to different places for video shoots. It's like, well, maybe I'll bring my gi with me. Maybe I'll bring my rash guards with me, so I can go roll at another place and just experience.
I love dropping it. Yeah, it's
cool,
fun
man.
For me on the road to have like a little a place to go, and then I know I could always find weed. If I drop into a 10th Planet gym.
Yeah, 10th Planet for sure.
And I'm like, all right, if I drop into a 10th Planet school, I know I'll get some weed out here. I'll make some friends.
Yeah.
And then I make some homies.
There you go.
I like going to Austin a lot. Now that Danaher's in Austin.
Are you tight with Danaher?
I mean, we're friendly. I know him for 20-something years.
So you've gone.
I'm not in the death squad, but
have you gone to Roca before down there?
Yeah, I trained with him down
That's
there. I went in Austin maybe last March.
Dead serious. I had a dream last night that I was training at that spot down in Austin, and he was teaching us.
See, before the Airbnb market, I don't know how it is right now. I'd have to check it out. But what I wanted to do is make like a BJJ B&B, a place that you rent out down there specifically for guys that are training down there to compete and do jiu-jitsu. And you set it up nice. You make the garage with mats and a little gym space. You hook up UFC Fight Pass and Flow Grappling on the TV.
That's cool.
In the closet, you have a couple of rash guards with a little code that you could, get if you need some training stuff. You forgot your shit. We'll give like complimentary, like a little bag of like soaps and stuff that you can take to the gym. You can make a really cute setup, charge a little more for it, and do like a B&B. I don't know if there's a market for it now though.
I don't even know if he has a website for that gym down there.
No.
Yeah, they're like off the grid.
Nope.
Yeah, they're off the grid.
And that's the other good thing. You don't even have to get a house in Austin. You would get it in San Marcos, the town next to it, because all those places are on the outskirts. All like those spots that the gyms are at.
Yeah.
It's not in the middle of Austin. There isn't a fucking warehouse in the middle of nowhere.
Do you know where Rogan trains? Because I know he trains.
On it. I mean,
He rolls at On It?
I don't think they roll it on
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, probably the 10th Planet spot across the street.
Oh, there's a 10th Planet down there in Austin?
Yeah, right across the street from On It. That's where I originally started training when I went to Austin, because the first time I went to Austin was like, I don't know, 2015. And there was no Henzo guys down there. But they had a 10th Planet spot inside of the On It gym. And when I used to go to Austin... Fuck.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I don't have paper towels. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
You want me to take my shirt off?
No, it's okay. You're good.
My pants. Are you ready?
You're good. You're good. Just go. You're good. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you, don't worry about it. It's okay. But we're going to move this over here. You're good. You're good. I'm telling you. No. Don't. Just keep going.
Get off.
I know. I don't know. Just go. Talk.
If I lick that off your table, would it disturb you?
I'll have to throw the table out. I'll have to throw the whole fucking table out.
How the fucking throw the table
I don't think you understand what it was like to get this thing in here. I have to throw the table out then. Okay, go. 10th Planet in Austin.
And when I went there, it was a good vibe because they all smoke weed and I didn't know where to get. So I was like, so I became friends with the guys there. And then they moved out of On It. And then they opened a big spot across the street. And then they have the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, Bang Muay Thai.
Oh, that's cool. So they combine a couple.
And then they have some MMA fighters. Yeah, so they have like a huge spot, like 10,000 square feet across the street from On It. And then On It took that back room to do all their like videos and seminars.
Yeah.
So if you ever see when they do like their On It programs.
Yeah, they have the same room that they use for all that.
That room used to be the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu room.
Big room.
And then they cleared that, and then they needed a bigger spot, 10th Planet, and they took the spot across the street, and then they turned that into the studio.
That's sick.
Which is kind of like what I would want for an event space. I need a spot that's like an event space / everything else I need to do, but a nice studio would be good. Because I'd like to make just like a one-off program too for like the over 40 grappler. Just like a standalone like 4-week product, just some strength and conditioning exercises, some mindset stuff, maybe help them set up a battle board. I don't think you ever did one of those. Should do a battle board with you. I make a little battle board. It's like, it sets like, you probably do similar stuff with like your goal planning. You seem pretty focused, but it'll be like 9 things you do every day, 6 things you're interested in, 3 things that you put work effort into, a personal motto, a symbol of power. And then I have like a couple mantras, a couple quotes that I put to myself, my values on the side. So I always want to make sure I align with my values, everything I do. So freedom, my first value. So if I seem wild, it's because it's the first value, you know? So if you're like, man, this fucking guy's wild, it's like, well, freedom's my first value. So I'm always going to be going in there, crossing over some type of line. I'm a free guy.
That's okay.
You know, it's like free energy.
Do you think?
It's like, you know, when there's a tidal wave, that water goes everywhere.
It goes everywhere.
Yeah. So
okay, that's who you are.
That's who I am.
And you're living it, and you're living it up to exactly the way you are. You're a unique individual, brother.
Yeah, I'm doing my best out here to be myself.
You're doing good.
Yeah, I've never worked a regular gig, really. I mean, I had the thing at the mental hospital, but I wouldn't really call that a regular gig.
Yeah.
That was a pretty irregular gig.
Oh, so now
irregular gig. But
so now you landed into the irregular gig now.
Yeah, but doing I'm pretty lucky to be able to just make a living off training and then whatever wild shit I do.
That's good though.
But event
So
series,
you're passionate about it. That's why. That's the other side of it, though. You do love what you do, and you do love the sport, and you love promoting it and teaching and doing stuff like that. So hand in hand, you're not chasing the dollar bills, but they come. It's kind of crazy how that works.
Sometimes, I'd like them to come more.
Yeah, well,
but we'll work on that.
That's it.
Fuck the New York State Athletic Commission. Oh no, I love the New York State Athletic Commission. Sorry. I really appreciate the New York State Athletic Commission keeping everything so safe.
Where do you teach in Brooklyn?
Nowhere.
You don't teach in Brooklyn anywhere?
No.
Okay.
I would like to see where the universe wants me to be with some full-time energy. I thought it was going to be in the events, but it kind of slowed me down having to get all this other shit. Maybe once I iron it out, I'll be back full-time. But I was ready to put full-time energy into doing the events, and I got kind of a little tripped up. But
right.
we'll turn that around.
You're pivoting to do something else now.
Well, no, I'm still working on that. It's just going to go a little slow. I can't put the full-time
I'm saying
energy
you're pivoting to something else for full-time. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I was saying. I wanted to make a standalone product that I could sell for like the over 40 grappler. A little, some strength and conditioning stuff, some solo drills they could do at home to get better, and maybe just sell that as like a one-off product, just like an extra thing to do. And then I'd like to figure out something to get the person that doesn't train to train. I'm the first guy to make an MMA cardio DVD. It's a little bit before your time, but in 2008, I made Unlimited Fighting Fitness. It was like an MMA cardio DVD, and I did okay with it. But it would be like essentially mimicking an MMA fight. So it would be like learn to get fit without getting hit. So
there you go.
Train all the MMA moves: jab, cross, sprawl, sit through, knee to elbow escape, up and over sweeps, elbows on the ground. Like we would do a whole fight choreographed like through the moves like Tai Bo, but for MMA. Like
Boss Rutan's video.
But I was way better. I'll show you it. And even though, for what it cost to do back in the day is insane, but I did all right with it. And I thought it was the best of the bunch. We had the right moves. I mean, I thought it was good. And but whatever. The story about how that got fucked up was a whole other story.
We'll say that for the next one.
We'll save that for volume 2. It's a long story.
What's your Instagram handle? How can people get in touch with the Manimal if they want a private, if they want to just learn more about some of the events?
So guys, the easiest way to get in touch with me is start sending up some smoke signals. I'll definitely see them. I'm the king of cannabis. So,
don't send up smoke signals. Smokey the Bear will not like that.
Other than that, follow me, Manimal John, everywhere, especially on Instagram, although I'm trying to do my YouTube on Token Choke a little more. So follow me at Manimal
YouTube's
John.
a long play. Got to get the YouTube going.
Just keep it going. Yeah, that's what Jeremy was saying. He was like, yeah, just do more YouTube.
Yep.
Try to affiliate link it. Do you know how to do that shit?
Yeah, I do.
All right, I'll have to talk to you after. Because I like to get that rolling. I think the content's good. I give a fuck. So
well, but you know what? That's fine. But you have to. It's about consistency. It's about how many videos you're putting out. Your first 100 videos are probably not going to get views. My podcast views are all over the place. I tell people this all the time. Sometimes they're crazy. Sometimes they're not. My Instagram short videos are sometimes in the thousands. This and that, and then sometimes they're in the low tens.
I think Instagram shadow banned me.
I mean, they may have, but all I'm saying.
The last weed post, they fucking got pissy.
They might have, but
the Ric Flair promo I cut was so good.
But all I'm saying is you have to just keep it consistent. That's the biggest thing. With anything that you're doing on any of these content sites, you just have to keep it consistent. That's really what it comes down to. If you post and then you don't post for 4 days, and you don't put, then my TikTok, dude, my TikTok was I was almost at 54,000, 53,000 followers. I'm down to like 52 now because I'm losing 100 followers here and there because I don't post as much anymore. And I was getting 100,000 millions of views on my TikTok videos. Stopped posting for like 6 months. Started doing it again. Now I'm in the realm of everybody else getting the 200 views a video now. Is what it is. Now I'm not putting effort into it.
Yeah.
So now I'm just making it worse.
TikTok, is it worth it to TikTok?
Yes and no. It depends. It depends on if it's going to bring view. Really what TikTok is supposed to do is it's supposed to bring me the views to my YouTube channel. It's supposed to make people interested with the clips, but everyone's attention span is so short. They see the clip and they go, okay, and they swipe to the next one. So is it important? Maybe. I don't know. Do I care? No, I don't care because my long play is YouTube. That's really where I want to grow. That's where I check the numbers and I really care about that because as long as those numbers are trending upwards, then I'm doing something right. And they are. I just have to, but when I'm not consistent, they're trending down.
Yeah, I got to get more consistent on my YouTube.
We'll talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
So follow me at Manimal John. Guys, there's never been a better time to train. And I'll keep you posted about the event. Definitely need Rizzles down there.
For sure.
Other than that, stay savage, my friends.
I appreciate you. No, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for coming down, chopping it up.
I know I am hard to handle, even though I am like fucking shit up, spilling stuff.
Okay,
I'm a lot. It's a lot. You're trying to contain all this fucking power.
You're good. You're good people. You're
best.
You're good people. You really are.
I'm
From day one, you're good people, man. You're one of my jiu-jitsu buddies, like for real. He's somebody that I do like.
You
to
have
learn.
a good vibe.
I appreciate you.
I know
I love to learn. I love to experience other people, and that's what this is. Dude, that's what this show is. This isn't a show where it's about specific things or topics, or I need heart to hearts every conversation. It's about just introducing other people's viewpoints and other people's experiences through life and what they believe and this and that. You threw a whole different spin on it. I've never heard anybody talk about stuff like that, so that's perfect.
Can I rub my heart chakra on this?
You can't do that. You can't have you rubbing shit on the microphone, though. That I can't have you doing.
My chakras. I am a freedom first person. And every time I make a
just rub it on the door on your way out.
Decision, I'm going to fucking rub my dick somewhere
Don't
in here and I will not tell you.
You can't.
I'm not going to tell you. You won't even know.
You got to get out.
You won't know.
On that note, everybody.
I see where the cameras are.
Like, comment, subscribe, share. I appreciate it.
And I'm going to give you a show.
Better stop.
I'm going to put all the cameras on.
Do you see this? Everybody, I appreciate all y'all for fucking with us. I hope you enjoyed the episode with my man, John Manimal. This is my brother right here in jiu-jitsu. And on that note,
praise Odin.
Praise Odin. Peace.